Hello, my friends, and welcome. Yes, it's the older man, and we're back with another lesson. Today, we're going to talk about being lonely. Now, this is a touchy subject for a lot of people simply because the stats are very frightening. By the year 2030, that's 6 years from now, almost 40% of women will be single and childless. And we're seeing a massive rise in this problem as we speak. I'll give you an example. I was invited out to a birthday party here in Dubai on Saturday gone. And it was a brunch at a very popular Caribbean restaurant / dance hall type environment. No, it's freaking awesome. Guys, if you want to feel like you're back in Jamaica, sophisticated Jamaica, while you're in the Middle East, this is the place to go. Oh, we had some good oxtail, some good patties, some rice and peas, and some sorrel. And, you know, for my Jamaican brothers, you know what I'm talking about, man. Ooh, it was good. But one thing was very, very obvious. It was around 80% women versus 20% men. And these women were dressed to impress. The tight stuff, the sexy stuff. I mean, I don't hardly go out. I hardly go out, right? And I had to ask my younger brothers. I said, man, is this these women out for work? Are these professional women, or these are just your average woman just came out for brunch? And he said, well, you just never know these days. Like, wow, man. But it was insane, the amount of women out, single. No men around. Very few men. And it was a bit weird for me because, you know what? The majority of the people there were in their 30s, late 20s, 30s. 30-year. Listen, man, we're in the middle of a lot of 30-year-olds. I mean, listen, I enjoyed myself. I did my little wine, my old man wine and my jig, feel some of the good old reggae music that you hardly hear, right? A lot of it was just like way over my head because I haven't been out to even know the latest dance hall stuff, right? But what was frightening was the amount of women dancing with each other because there were no men in the room, none. And the few men that were there, they had their woman with them because these were women that bought their man. And then add to that, when we go out to these sessions, you want to wind up on a few things. I don't do that. I don't. I've reached that age of I could be classified as the creepy old guy. So I just keep myself in the background, even though some women start pushing up on me. I was like, yeah, thank you, but no thank you. Because I know I'm going to get labeled at that ras, and I'm not doing it, not walking into that trap at all. My wife said, so you had fun? I'm like, yeah, had fun. Music was too damn loud, though. She says, oh, God. Yes, you are an older man. I'm like, yeah, I'm there. Listen, I had to get back home to get to my calls. I had to talk to you guys. But I had a great time. My boy had a great birthday bash, and it was awesome. It was awesome. But the point I'm trying to get across, guys, is that we're going to see a massive epidemic of lonely women. And listen, it's not like they're not going to be lonely men. But we know men have choices. Men have the option of becoming passport bros. And throughout history, men have always lived on their own when they so desired. That's why the words like hermit came into effect. Men can go into the woods and live on their own. They can go into the desert and live on their own. Women, on the other hand, they're more social creatures. But what I'm seeing is an epidemic of lonely women who are trying to convince other women that it's okay to be alone. It's okay. And that is the frightening part, because a lot of these other younger girls are feeling the pain of being alone, and a lot of them now are trying to justify it away. So in other words, instead of actually going out there and doing the work and compromising and working with a man to become a good partner, they would prefer to say, yes, it's okay, guys. You could be alone. You could be happy. Don't fight it. It's okay. Because this is what women does to themselves. And so today, that's what I want to discuss with you all, especially you ladies. I'm trying to combat that by starting my online membership program where we're going to start bringing everybody together as a community. So please join up for that by going to askanolderman.com. Right now it's free. I haven't determined a price yet, but more than likely we're going to all start meeting either on Facebook in a private group where I'll be able to put more and more people together. The only reason I want to use Facebook is because pretty much everybody got a Facebook account already, right? And it's one of the easiest places to get everybody together. But I have my own personal website where we're going to join, and you're going to have access to my teaching, my courses, etc. from there. And then twice a month, we're all going to try to meet on Zoom, where I'll be doing a private Zoom just for members, not for the internet consumption. At this point, that's what we're doing. So these are all the different fragments or pieces of the community and the membership system. So I'm building something big, guys. So yeah, join, man. Get in there. Get in there. Right now, we're going to start off with the 10-pound weight loss program, which we're starting 1st of July, meaning today. Or was it yesterday? I'm 9 to 12 hours ahead of you guys. So that's how I'm thinking. Okay, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it. All of that info is up there, and I'm going to be updating that on a weekly basis. Next, if you want to book a session, by all means, get me over. Same site, askanolderman.com. Book a session where you can have a private chat with me. And if you want to get me over on Instagram and just ask a quick question by voice message, do that, and I will respond. Free of charge, nothing to worry about. I respond to everybody's message. Okay? So let's get into this epidemic of lonely women, because this is a serious issue, man. It's a very serious issue. Now, this sort of prompted me from this particular message I saw on Quora. And it says, I am 60 plus. I lived alone for nearly 15 years. I've tried everything to meet someone. Is it simply never going to happen to me again? No one can imagine how lonely it is. I just want to scream. And this is by Penelope Mir, lawyer. An individual who has lived alone for a while fall into the trap of becoming very comfortable with it. And this is a reality. Human beings are adaptable organisms. We adapt to whatever condition we put ourselves under. It is part of our survival mechanism. It's built into us. Let me give you a couple of examples. If you left Canada, cold country, and you came to Dubai, first couple of months, you will feel like you are in absolute hell. It's hot as hell. But you know what? 6, 7, 8 months after, guess what? This will be very comfortable for you, and you will have a hard time thinking about why you are freezing your ass off in Canada, right? Now, this occurred because you adapted, you adjusted. And I can tell you that about fitness. If you've never ran ever in your life, or you have never ran in a long time, the first time you try to run 1/4 mile, you'll be out of breath and you'll be dying. If you do that consistently enough, in a couple of months, you'll be running 2-3 miles very comfortably because you have adjusted. If you lost your home and you were out on the street, the first couple months of being out on the street will be a nightmare. You will be in fear until you adjust, and all of a sudden, no problem at all. You get very comfortable with being on the street. And I can give you tons and tons of other examples. We mentally and physically adjust to whatever condition that we accept. Listen to what I just said. We accept. As long as we can go through the initial painful process, we will adjust and adapt. That's it. Same thing with losing weight, getting fit, being in an abusive relationship. You can get used to that. Being in a loving relationship, you can get used to that. You can adjust to whatever. But let's go back to the example of living on the street. Even though you adjusted to living on the street, is it optimal for life success? If you define it like that. If you were to define success as living comfortable, living in a home that provides all your basic needs without fear, shelter and protection. Because on the street, you're not going to have the protection of a home. In other words, you can become adjusted to living in shit. But do you want to live in shit? Answer is probably no. You will probably want to live in a nice place, And the same thing occurs with relationships. Now, I want you guys to listen to a few people here. Listen to an older woman.
Are you unhappy living alone? Living alone does not have to be a death sentence. I've got 2 tactics that will really help. I've lived alone on and off all my life, and it's really great, and then sometimes I'm really lonely. So here's what I do, and I think it might help. Number 1, you got to make peace with the fact that you're living by yourself. So take it 1 week, 1 month at a time and say, I accept the fact that this is the way my life is right now. Because when you do that, you stop resisting and pushing against it. Oh, I can't stand living alone. I'm so lonely. I hate coming home in the dark by myself. I hate eating dinner by myself. You're resisting. You're pushing against it. And you know the expression, what we resist persists. When you fight it, you're making the problem worse. And secondly, look for the positives. In every situation, you've got positives and negatives, right? So you might be a neatnik. Well, I can keep my apartment as neat as I want because I don't have to worry about somebody else messing it up. Or maybe you're a mess and you say, I can keep my house as messy as I want. I don't have to worry about my neatnik spouse. It's such freedom. And then how about the air temperature? Oh my gosh, I don't have a heater in my body and I live outside of Boston. So in the wintertime, I've got that thermostat cranking and my dog looks at me. Do we have to have it so hot in here? You can have a sense of humor about all this stuff. Look for the positive, accept where you are today, and you're going to enjoy the experience of living alone a whole lot more. Hashtag, oh yes, you can. Enjoy and have peace with living alone.
Now, all I hear is no responsibility. And this is what all of these videos will encourage people to do. Oh, you don't have to worry about being a neat freak. You don't have to worry about if you got up and didn't want to get out of your pajamas today. All of these are what? Irresponsible behavior, lack of accountability and responsibility, being a child. Every single individual that you hear with this crap is people who don't want to take responsibility as an adult. Yeah. When I was a teenager or kid, I could run around in my pajamas. Well, my father wouldn't allow it. But if I could ever get away with it, I would run around in my pajamas until midday. Didn't have that option, but if I could, I would. But now as an adult, I know that that's just not acceptable, man. Get up, take a shower, get your shit together. Start your day. Be responsible. Be a damn adult, man. Even on vacation, I don't do that crap. But here's the other point that I want to make. I'm married. And if I want to get up and don't want to get out of bed until 8:30, 9 o'clock, hey, listen, man, I'm usually up by 3:34. So 8:39 is literally half the day gone for me, okay? So point is that if I wanted to sleep in, my wife sleeps in until, well, you see, my wife and I are on different schedules, right? I get up early in the morning. She likes to take advantage of when she don't have to get up to go to work. I don't have to do that because I work from home. I'm not on a schedule. So my schedule is erratic. But I get up incredibly early because that's when I feel rested. I don't lie in bed just for the sake of lying in bed. I will get up and be productive, and then I will pass out or take a nap during the day at some odd hour because I'm not on a schedule. Point is that I am still responsible enough to feel that something is just not right if I don't put myself in order and feel good about myself. Make sure that I shower, make sure that I look good, I shaved, I smelling good, I feel good. These are things that are internalized in me. But every single time you hear a person says, oh, you don't have to worry about dressing like this or cleaning this or over cleaning. Point is that no one wants to take responsibility. This idea of being alone, the justification is, oh, you can do whatever you want. Ooh, if you have a good partner, you're supposed to be able to do whatever you want. But that's supposed to is supposed to be an adult. No grown-ass individual should want to keep their house like shit. None. No grown-ass individual should want to run around in their pajamas all day and don't take a shower or don't work out or do whatever adults supposed to do. That's irresponsible behavior. It has nothing to do with you being alone. None. Nothing. If my wife got up and she wanted to run around in her pajamas all day, you think I give a shit? I don't. And no man would. It's my wife in her pajamas. She doing her work. good. She don't want to do her work today. She want to take a day off or do whatever she wants, sit around doing. As long as it's not a freaking daily occurrence, if she want to do that one day, I'll be happy to serve her in bed. So you ladies that are talking about, oh, this freedom to do whatever you want is a cop-out. Basically what you're saying is you are unable to attract a man and you're trying to justify your poor decisions in life and your lack of ability to keep a man long term. So don't give me this crap about, oh, you could do whatever you want. Yeah, you can ride some D. That's about as much freedom as you will get while you don't have a partner. But that's about it. I mean, even this old lady, she can do the same thing. I'll read you some of the comments so you can hear it. This gentleman said, for me, the hardest thing about being single is about not wanting to do things like going to the theater or traveling alone. Much prefer to do these things with someone. There's the point. There, right there. This is a man with freaking sense. What's the sense of experiencing things in life and not being able to share that experience with someone else? The point is that all experiences in life, if not shared with another person, don't feel like it was a good experience, regardless of what you say. And you know the reason why I know that is because so many people, when they are on life-changing experiences, the first thing they do is pull out their bloody phone to record it. You know why they do that? Phone has just become their best friend that they're experiencing it with. With this brunch on Saturday that I went to, most of these women spent the large majority of their time doing selfies and taking pictures of themselves and not enjoying the atmosphere. It was dismal and bizarre to watch. Okay, let me read two more comments on this older lady. DMG said, I lived alone for 20 years before my second marriage. I love the freedom and independence. There we go again. Freedom and independence. How the hell can you not feel free when you're with a good partner? I feel free. The only thing I do not do is go out and hit some shit on the side. So if that's what you define as freedom, that's all there should be in a relationship. You conduct yourself like someone who's in a relationship. You have respect for that other person. But for some reason, this so-called freedom, when you're in a relationship, that is known as, I guess, jail? Because the opposite of freedom is captive. So this idea that you feel like you're a captive when you're in a relationship shows that you have no idea about how to be in a relationship. Most people don't. Mimi says, love living alone, meaning there are other women who are out there who have adjusted to single life. Another man responded, Scott said, thank you for the kind, inspiring words. Yes, you are so correct. Yes, there's a lot of people out there that are lonely and are alone, and the justification is unbelievable, man.
I want to share with you a simple truth that many of us ignore, or maybe we choose to ignore. And that's that far worse than actually being alone is feeling alone within a marriage or relationship. I'll describe to you what that sounds and feels like, and you can tell me if this resonates or sounds familiar. It's in simple moments like watching a movie together and you laugh and you look over to share that experience, but you notice your partner's thinking of something else. It's in wanting to have conversations, but not being able to get more than one-word answers. It's in noticing that no matter what you do, your partner's preoccupied with their phone or with work or something else. It's in moments where you're overwhelmed or dealing with something difficult and your partner doesn't come to help and maybe they don't even notice. It's in being with someone that was supposed to be your close or even best friend, but knowing that they probably couldn't answer the most basic questions about you. If you feel alone within your relationship, this is a red flag that needs to be addressed quickly.
Now, this is a big issue with a lot of people. I hear this a lot. I left my relationship because even though I was married, I felt like I was alone. I was alone in my marriage. I was alone even though I had a man. This is when one person has given up on the relationship. It's either one or both of you, because we tend to forget why we came together in the first place. The only problem that I see in these particular cases where one person feel like they're being ignored, isolated, is that it had to have stemmed from something. Now, with my 20 years marriage, we go through these ups and downs where I feel like my wife sort of detaches, and she said the same thing. I feel like I'm alone. I don't understand why you... And it's usually because of some external problem or something that your partner did that you pull away and you no longer, and you don't talk about it. the partner has decided that I'm sick of talking about it. I'm just going to pull myself away. The good thing with my wife and I is that we tend to identify when that happens, and we make a concerted effort to talk about it, and we don't let them get away. You know, if she sees that I pull away, she will come to me and say, well, you know, I don't understand why you haven't said anything to me in days. You haven't touched me. You haven't did this. You haven't done that. And I could go back further into my shell and say, oh, no, it's nothing. It's nothing. Nothing. You know, nothing to worry about. And brush it off. But we're both smart enough to realize that, hey, your partner's reaching out and they're expressing something. You better listen. You know it's a problem. You know what you're doing. So I will then say, well, I'm really worried about this problem or that problem. She will say, well, why didn't you come to me, talk to me about it? Then I will probably say something like, well, I came and I talked to you about it once and you just ignored it and you didn't say shit about it and I just feel like you didn't care, so I'm just dealing with it on my own. Then she would probably respond with, well, because I was dealing with this shit at work or that, the child or this. When you came to me, I was busy with this, that. So now I understand why she did what she did. She now understands why I responded the way I responded. And now we understand the connection. The biggest issue when this shit happens is that one person ignores the other person's feelings. Because when one person withdraws, it wasn't just because they want to be an asshole. Something must have triggered the withdrawal. You got to go back, and both of you have to go back and figure out where was it? What was it that made the initial trigger? And if the goal is for both of you to try to stay together and both of you are trying to work it out, then it's important for you to dig back and go back and understand each other. The biggest problem I find is when one person is no longer interested in digging back and finding the truth, and one person is trying to get to them and the other person's moving forward. This person's coming towards them and this will keep moving back, and this is happening until that person gives up, and then you're both this far apart. And the stupid and most painful part is most people don't realize what the hell they did until the other person is gone. Because we tend to take each other for granted. This is the biggest problem. So being lonely in a relationship is a real thing, but it always stems from somebody who refuses to talk about the issue. When my wife and I are going to have a discussion, and I want to have a serious discussion, and for example, she's on the phone, I will say, babes, can you put the phone down? I want to have a serious chat with you now. And then she'll understand, okay, this is serious. And then she'll turn the phone down, turn it off, and put it to the side. Work then comes second to her husband, and vice versa. And this is another example. For example, when we want to eat together as a family, there's no phones at the table. When we cook, we put the food in the middle of the table, we all eat, and there's no phones. If I ever see a phone, I'm going to take them away. We're together. So just some life lessons there, guys. Let's go to the next one.
Scared of being alone and single, and you're going into a relationship because of that fear, research shows 3 things happen. The first thing is you're guaranteed to settle for less than you deserve. Guaranteed. The second thing is you're more likely to be dependent on that person because you think they're out of your league. And so now you'll become, do, mold, fold, become anything they want you to be. And the third is you're going to be scared to leave them because being with them in your mind is better than being alone.
Listen, he has a point. If you're scared of being alone, a lot of shit's going to happen. You're going to make yourself vulnerable to a lot of problems. But you have to be careful about identifying whether you're going with someone because, hey, this is someone on your level. And it's not about, hey, I'm just going to pick anybody. You got to identify whether the reason you're alone is because you have been putting off or thinking that most men are not on your level. This is the hardest thing for women because they get so much attention in their early days from the top men. All of a sudden, they've reached their late 30s and 40s and realize that those top men are no longer on her roster for serious relationships. For dicking down, yes, but not for serious relationships. So she says, okay, I'm not going to get D down by any of these guys anymore. I'll prefer to be on my own. Then all of a sudden, average Joe comes along one day and say, hey, beautiful, how are you? Blah, 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 really nice. He got average this, average that, average this. you now have to decide, am I lonely? Or is this a guy on my level that I should then realize that he's in my league? And I feel sorry for you ladies, because this is a dilemma that you have to deal with. This is one of the big problems with Chad D'ing you down in your early days. So now you make a decision. Excuse another man or give this man a chance and work with him. You could see he's a good man. He's a nice man. He's a charming man. He's a generous man. He does everything, but just an average guy. One part of your brain is going to say, oh, I don't want to settle. I don't want to settle. The other part of you saying, I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to grow old. This shit ain't working anymore. Yep, it's a difficult one, and I don't have the answer for you all. Sometimes you just got to work with what you have. That's the best answer I can give you. Let's listen to the next one. This reads, where is my true love? I'm 38 years old and I still live alone. Can someone give me a chance? Yeah, you're going to see a lot of this. You waited too long, my dear. You're not a bad-looking chick. But, man, being 38 and being alone shouldn't happen. Hope you're not a baby mama, because that's going to be 10 times harder finding a man. But we're going to see a lot more of you, my friend.
I'm going to share this because I know it's real, and I know that I'm not the only person sitting in this. If you are single, you're feeling this. Like, I'm single, and I, last night, was having just sad girl moments, okay? About being single and not having a partner and just feeling lonely. And it's like, it's so ridiculous, because then I'll tell myself, like, why do I sit here feeling sorry for myself and feeling sad about this one part of my life when I am so unbelievably blessed? Like, I am dumb blessed, like, to the point where I'm like, I don't even deserve it. Like, I don't deserve all that the Lord has provided for me in my life. The fact that I know him and have a relationship with him is the biggest blessing of my life. Like, why is that not enough in moments like this where I just feel sad that
she babbles on about the whole God has given her everything, but she's not taking advantage of it. This is another case of I'm not settling. Every woman's worst nightmare. I'm not going to settle. She's an attractive woman. I'm sure tons of men have knocked on her door, and she's just not settling. I don't feel sorry for women like this, unfortunately. So when they cry about I'm lonely, you just selfish. Sorry.
When you get comfortable being alone, it is kind of a scary place to be. I personally used to be a people pleaser, and I feel like I would always feel guilty whenever I wouldn't respond to people. I felt bad if I didn't answer the phone, even if I didn't have the energy to be able to pour into someone whenever they needed me. Nowadays, I just don't fucking care. Like, if I'm not feeling okay, if I'm feeling drained, I don't answer the phone. If I cancel plans the day prior and I said that I was going to do something a couple days before, I just don't give a fuck. Maintaining and protecting my peace is so important for me these days that it's almost scary, because I am really okay being by myself.
All right. So the thing is, they're introverts. They're people who just don't get energy or don't derive much pleasure from being around other people. And these people sound selfish. Well, she's a bit selfish, because saying I don't give a F, I don't care, that's signs of selfishness. If you had said, listen, I will call people and cancel because I just feel I don't have the energy to give to people, that's different. But saying you don't give a F, you don't care, don't give it, that's just immature behavior. Introverts don't have a problem being on their own. It just gets uglier the older you get. But when you adapt yourself to being alone, it's back to my original argument. Even a bum on the street, a homeless guy, can become accustomed to his living situation. Take your pick. Being alone or compromising and living life and experiences with another human being, which is what we're naturally designed to do. All right, guys, listen, I'm not going to drag this out any longer. I just thought I should touch on this subject because I know a lot of you, men and women, we're out there and we always feel like we're going to just give it up. We don't care. I'm going to be on my own, etc. Life is a lot sweeter when you can experience it with someone. I'm telling you, it's a lot sweeter. You know it as well. I don't have to tell you. You just got to understand that life is all about choices and trade-offs. You will adapt to whatever condition you put yourself under, but I'm telling you, it's a lot sweeter when you have someone to share it with. So my friends, this was today's lesson. Subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you haven't already. Please book a chat if you'd like to chat with me and join our community over on askanolderman.com. So until next time, my friends, whenever in doubt, always, always ask an older man. I'll see you soon. Cheers.